I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to the May 8th Marion County Commission meeting. We'll begin with public comments. If you're online and would like to make a comment, we have something typed.
Okay, Jerry Mendoza, what are the plans for the Olney Road? Is the road work going to be completed by this summer? And if so, what is going to be the end result as far as road surface?
Okay, any comments?
It's for Bryce to answer.
All right, any other public comments? If not, we'll move into agenda approval. Any additions or changes to the agenda? If not, it'll stand approved, and we'll move into administrative business.
Okay, we have some early checks.
Okay. Commission's had a chance to review the early checks. Any questions? We only had 221 pages to look through, but you'll find it.
Yeah. It was in depth.
My only question is, are you involved in running the reports?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell your computer not to print pages that has no activities on
I don't think we can.
it? It has zero.
Yeah.
I think it prints just the
I mean,
whole
our
thing.
It's the whole report.
You can choose everything,
I can look into it and see if we're able to, but as of now, I'm not able to.
say 25 pages or something.
Well, I just have a PDF. I don't print it.
As long as it's digital, I don't really care. If you handed me a paper book and it had a bunch of empty pages, I wouldn't like that one very much.
I think a lot of postage to get it to you.
That's sort of the reason why we went to computers to even to start with, because we was tired of killing trees.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So the summary page is actually 213 in your packet. Total $1,460.41. Is there a motion to approve?
Also move.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Crowfoot. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Wow.
Okay, next I have a salary sheet.
Okay, Road and Bridge, Special Bridge, Jarrett McClendon, changed from equipment operator 1 to equipment operator 2. They obtained their CDL. Changed from $2,882 per month to $2,999.
And then next I have the minutes to approve for April 28th and May 1st.
And we are on page 208 in the packet. Commission has had a chance to review any additions or corrections to the minutes. If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Dolphy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Take long to get that to- Yeah, the working session.
Okay, and that is
Which is good.
all I have.
Wow.
What? You have the green folder. There's nothing in it?
That's just, oh, sorry. Let me have you sign that.
All right, so you're gonna kill a couple minutes.
No change orders.
Too,
Nope.
too efficient.
Oh, I need to have Ashley.
It felt like it was going quicker. It was kind of clip nice.
What Dave's signing that, I wanna say, the kids thing last week, Saturday
Kids.
was success. There's 170 or so kids, and they said 200 animals. And the firehouse is quite impressive. It's,
It fits in the trailer?
yeah, it fits in an elevator, so they took it downstairs in the elevator. It's in cases, but it's 20 by 20.
Well, good.
It's quite impressive.
Nice.
You have a good chance to see it set up.
Okay. Commissioner Becker, do you have any other comments about SCED? I cut you short last week. I didn't.
Well, I think I mentioned that there's a new search for.
Yes.
We have an interim,
And they're cutting back staff.
operating now efficiently at about 2/3 staff of what it was.
Okay.
And I think there's a commitment by the board to see that it returns to doing what it's supposed to be doing. I know a lot of the smaller counties such as ours kind of felt we can't, sometimes, I don't think we're slighted, it's just we don't have the resources to put things together like McPherson and Butler and Reno, and you know, you sit there and you think, they're getting everything. But yet they've got people working on grants and that stuff every day. That's why it's gonna be so important to have some experienced grant people that, you know, can work with you, because, you know, you could, like I've told people, you can get trained on grant writing, and write the grant. But the big thing with grant writing is administration. And that's where SCED they have experience with that. Because otherwise, that's like a full-time position if you've got a grant writer that can administer. Because those things, you know, they go on for years, some of them. You know, and there's renewals and there's all kinds of stuff, so.
I would say. to
I'm
that-
hoping that SCED has enough rural members now that there can be a little more influence. Nothing against the big counties, you know, they just take an advantage.
But that's how the city of Hillsborough, with Doris Walke, got those last six houses. And probably Dave might know something about Tampa, how you gotta have somebody that works that area to get in with these, either SCED or somebody, the board that I'm on down south, is to have somebody they can do so much up here, but they need somebody on the other end.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
You know, the
that's-
general public, you know,
Yeah.
you hear, we got a grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just the start of it.
Oh,
You gotta get the grant.
yeah.
There's all of this
Right.
that goes with it.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's where the clerk's office is done, administer, you
Yeah.
administer a lot of our grants.
Yeah.
So we're.
It takes a lot of time, and manpower.
Yeah, all of the accounting that goes with it, because every penny has to be accounted.
Yep.
Which is good. But they still have any new programs or continuing with the
Well,
regular programs?
I mean, there isn't any new programs. Most of the lending programs are basically SBA guaranteed loans.
Okay.
And SBA has a number of different types of loans, starting out, you know, with a micro loan, which is 50,000 or less, you know, on up to the different programs. But they do have two grant writers. One of them's very experienced, so I think that they feel like that they can enhance income through grant writing and administration. Of course, the weatherization program is basically what has kept that get going, and it's been utilized a lot in Marion County.
Good, that's good.
That's a really good program.
Good.
They weatherize houses, do windows, insulation, all kinds of stuff, you know, and they basically, you know, contract with a crew, and that crew's doing weatherization pretty much year round. You know, the big thing has been the slowdown, they're way behind, you know, so, you know, it can be kind of frustrating if you've been approved to have your house weatherized, but it might be
Don't get to it till
the winter
summer.
following next year.
You're on the list.
You're on the list.
Okay. Still have a couple minutes for any of the other outside boards or report.
Just that, down at Augusta down there, we got a new director, but I missed the meeting the last week of last month, and so I'm looking forward to get down and visit with her too.
So you have your new director?
We have the new director,
Okay.
she's in place.
Good.
yeah. But sitting down and talking to her, I haven't talked to yet, so that's, I may just call her and see what day she's gonna be around, see if I can't burn some time and go down and visit with her, because our old director was a great person and did a great job, and it's always neat to see some new life in an organization, and I think this person will bring that to us. And so she's a Kansan. I think she's from Dodge City. I believe is where she comes from, or I don't know if she grew up there, but that's where she's been, and moved into Wichita. So hopefully everything works for her.
Good.
Like I said, solid waste pretty uneventful. It was approved,
They meet quarterly, twice a year.
it's quarterly, but usually it gets canceled because there's really not much to do other than approve that solid waste plan. Josh will be in here a little bit, and maybe he'll have some other insight to the highlights, but pretty standard procedure.
Well, Josh
Can
is
I make
here.
one more comment?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry.
You know, our 200 and some pages in our budget report. It's always been my feeling to look at the number one page,
Mhm.
that general fund balance.
Mhm.
I'll never forget the first budget process that I went through with Scott Lloyd. Scott told me, he said, a healthy general fund will be anywhere from 4 to 6 months of monthly expenses. We've been far from that now for a couple of years. So I mean, we need to watch that, because, you know, that general fund is so important because we can use it for anything. That's why it really needs to be as liquid as possible. In the comment.
Okay. If there's nothing else, we'll see if Josh is here. Ready? Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Little nicer day today, cooler.
Yeah. I do have couple more chemical bids. We've been really selling a lot of Tordon lately. It usually comes 192 gallons, and in less than 2 weeks I've sold 130 gallons.
Wow.
Normally it takes me all year to get rid of it. So that is one of the bids, is getting another pallet, and the other bid is dicamba.
Okay.
Why did it sell out so quick?
I think people are doing more spraying.
Brush
And
treatment.
There's one for everybody, yeah.
Drought tips back the grass, and then trees thrive.
It's more evident.
The must thistle and that, what a lot of them are spraying for, so. And they're doing a lot of aerials. A lot of them are doing their own little spraying too, so.
They got more time since they can't farm.
Yeah.
Waiting for the rain.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe hit it while you're dry so you don't tear it up.
Mm-hmm.
And your recommendation would be?
The cheaper one was Nutrien. They're actually cheap, just a little bit cheaper on both of them by the gallon anyways.
your recommendation, do you go with them?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd move we accept recommendation, Josh's recommendation to go with Nutrient Solutions for dicamba and Tordon in the amount of $14,968.80.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Then I did get out and do a little spraying around the sheriff's office and the transfer station and stuff, just on one nice day that we've had so far. But
It was calling for Sunday morning, I think.
for a little bit, not very long.
Do you have a sprayer?
We have the pickup and sprayer is what I was using. I just load up 100 gallons, 100 gallons, 50 gallons will do the sheriff and 50 down there at the transfer.
But I'm talking about a person to do it.
No. There's a lot of other counties in our district, the Northeast District, there, the directors go out and do the spraying too. But, you know, if that's one thing you guys want me to stay in the office and do that, you know, we can find somebody.
Just wanted to teach somebody probably the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
Would you have better luck by looking the other route rather than getting somebody to do the labor aspect of it, if you've got somebody to do more of the clerical aspect of your?
I've got the helper down there, and I've got her selling the chemical, doing the chemical. Anybody comes in with reports and HHW.
So it works as long as the phone works.
Yeah, and it's, I get a lot of phone calls as I'm going along, and I'll talk with them, explain what to do or what they need to use the spray with, so.
Yeah, when do you get that side by side?
I did talk to the guy the other day, and he's thinking here by the end of this month. And, you know, we'll look at a sprayer, a tank to put in the back of it, and like to get some booms for it so we can spray out there at the landfill, because it's infested with sericea. So, kind of waiting on, get a little closer to that, but I've been kind of looking to see who's got them, and kind of getting a price in my head, and then I can get out and start getting some bids for it.
There's a little sprayer with a boom already ready to go. I mean, what, are you making something attached, Art, to a rig that we have, or where are you at with it? Is that what you're looking for, the whole setup?
The setup for the side-by-side?
Yeah.
To sit in the back.
And with the booms already built?
Yeah, where you can
Okay.
put them on, take them off, just kind of give them a little more room. I've looked at John Deere, talked to them down there at the, I've looked on their website, and they've got stuff, I'd like to talk to them. Fairbanks was the other one, so. And what I found at John Deere, it was everything just kind of plugged in, and it was a quick, simple, from what I was figuring out, but we'll get some bids and start working on that. It'd be nice if, once that come in, if I had all that stuff to be able to put on and go and get using it, get things spraying, so too with it, so.
Joe's already found it.
Got a 30-foot steel boom that goes on the back of that thing.
Didn't go too big, huh?
No.
You
It's
put
got
that,
break-
if
it's
you
got
put that
breakable
on there
arms.
with a big tank, you'd be.
There's some of the booms I did see that had breakaway. If you go in by trees, they break away. Once you got around, they can come back.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, this folds twice on each side.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll make a circle.
Mm-hmm.
What does the state require a county to do?
For spraying?
Yeah.
Maintain our county right-of-ways, and then work with the people to get them to spray.
My question being, and not just for Josh, this is for all of us here, is that we've gotten rid of a big truck. We've gotten rid of, we don't have people out doing it every day. So I know that our county's not getting sprayed like we should. Or maybe we're just spraying more than what we should have before. I don't know. So just putting it out there. Don't know what the answer is. But I am concerned about it.
Is there a side sprayer on that pickup, like they used to do with the big truck, just drove along the road and?
Yeah, we've got the boomless sprayers on there.
Because that would be so nice for these ditches that are full of Johnson grass.
Yeah, the problem with that, the chemical we use for Johnson grass will kill everything.
And then we get erosion problems.
Then yes, we would.
And worse
We
weed.
do have other chemicals out there that we could look at getting for it and trying, but you're talking $16 an ounce for 20 ounces, and then you gotta buy a case, you're over $3,000–4,000 just for a little case of chemical too, so.
There's a new figure to this cost in the county. I mean, that's what you just said, is
Mhm.
if maybe the spraying wasn't as expensive back then as what we.
Well, I guess from the farmer standpoint,
Okay.
you know, go back 20 years, and I remember county would spray every roadside, bindweed to whatever.
Mhm.
Well, then as farmers, we started planting a lot more soybeans. Well, you can't just spray the roadsides.
We have bought some soybeans, yes.
Yes. And I think that's become a real challenge for.
I get leery, it doesn't matter what's planted in there, I get leery of spraying around, farm ground, cause I don't wanna have to.
Growing crops.
Yeah,
Right.
Have to go in the insurance on that side of it, and deal with
Right.
that and get in trouble for myself and the county, so I do what I.
Cause it's wind every day.
Right now, there has been a lot of that.
One day every 2 weeks, maybe.
And strong enough if you're spraying that way, it goes
Yeah.
into that field.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it sounds.
I don't envy trying to spray a road right away. Well, I guess we got a little
Yeah.
information.
Do we have any more landowner requests for spraying that aren't complying?
There's not really, we have a few that will ask, well, can you go in and spray the spot that you sent me a letter on? But that's something, right down the road, we can discuss that and try getting a figure if we wanna get into that, but that's taken away from our roadside spraying, but if it's gonna take 15–20 minutes to get in and do it, as long as we had the chemical on there, we do several spots just like that for different people. That wouldn't bother me much, but as long as they're willing to pay for it and.
Because most of it's Sarisa anyway. They say different times of year is better to spray than others.
Probably while it's still green.
Usually, we got two different chemicals that we use, from start of June, if they start seeing it, they can start using Remedy all the way up until the flowering stage. And once that flowering stage hits, then you switch over to an Escort or MSM 60, and that will help sterilize the seeds, but it's a slow killer. It takes about anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to kill the plant. But it's also in that time of sterilizing the seeds, so.
If you hit it in early summer, will it still get to a point where it throws down seeds, or?
No, if you hit it
It's a
with
quick kill.
Remedy's about a week and you'll see results, sometimes a little sooner than that, so.
Any other questions? Well, good luck.
All right, thank you,
Josh.
You didn't have any highlights from the solid waste meeting, did you?
No, we're just getting ready to go over the
5-year plan.
the 5-year plan again, which
That's what I was
I
telling
didn't
everybody.
see anything in there that needed change. Just might have to do a little change, but nothing.
It's pretty uneventful, so I
Yeah.
figured. I just making sure you had the same opinion.
Yep.
That I didn't miss something, you know, that.
Nope. Nope.
Are you gonna stay with Sharon?
Yep.
Okay.
Just gonna move over.
All right, Sharon. Tag team on this one. Hi, Sharon.
Good afternoon. So the first item on my list, and I'll try to make this as quick as possible. I have a few bullet points I need to touch on. We would like to request suspending the C&D reduction program. There have been some recent issues, some storage space issues at the transfer station, some communication issues between whomever contractor and transfer station. Basically, it gets really drug out, and we've tried to be lenient with folks, but then they aren't paying the bill, and then it goes into another month's revenue, and trying to track down receipts and paperwork for that has been kind of a nightmare. One suggestion, and I think it's on that memo from me, is that we would still allow folks whose homes have been destroyed by natural disasters or fire, force majeure type incidences, to allow them to either dispose of C&D at a reduced rate or for free. And I guess Josh can also speak to this issue if you have any questions for him as well.
Is it just, I mean, is it just county ones that are a problem, or is it city ones that are a problem, or?
It's really just kind of been a mixture of both.
Okay.
How much C&D are we allowing before we charge?
25, so for the first 25 tons, it's $15 per ton.
Well, I mean, is a pickup load exempt?
No, it's any C&D, will charge,
I stopped this morning and a guy and a lady were there in a black pickup unloading a pretty good sized load of C&D right through the garage door.
Oh, really? If the guys aren't paying attention or they're out doing other things and they don't catch them, it happens once in a while. But, it's all C&D and loads we charge for.
Well, I haven't heard enough to convince me that we're gonna do anything yet.
How, for you living in Peabody, how much hail did you guys get here about a month ago?
It wasn't 2-3 weeks ago, or whatever, when
Yeah.
last the hailstorm that we had to. I sat there at my fireworks building and watched tennis ball, and I've got some tennis ball.
Mhm.
But the ground never got white. There was there was scattered, and it was
Mhm.
never heavy, but there was some.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you that it was a lot,
It was
because
soft, wasn't it?
some of it seemed to be
Some of it
soft,
was
yes, some of it seemed to be softer, because the minute it was hitting the ground, it was breaking up.
Okay.
And so I don't know whether it hadn't completely formed, and then there was, and you'll see in this two that I have still pictures of, there was a circle in them. The old white, and then a clear circle, and then another white that was in, so I suppose that's your freeze and thaw and coming down, but anyway, yeah. You go ahead with it.
Well, if they have a lot of roofing and stuff too, we'll catch a lot of the roofing from that. So, that slows down, if we have housing coming in, trying to coordinate that, because we also have regular solid waste coming in that we have to get out, and that's more of a priority than a C&D is. Because if it sits on the floor, it creates health issues and risks, the smell trails and all that too, so we try to get that out as fast as we can.
Still not enough.
Okay.
I haven't heard enough yet. I mean, I'm just asking because if you tell them what you want and they don't do it, then we got a problem. But, I mean, if it's gonna be on the day that you, and if you have a hailstorm, then you have more, I understand that.
Mhm.
I mean, 'cause, and we're short on trailers right now. We need another trailer, and they're up about 80 or 90,000 now instead of where we was at this last time. So we need to get in gear and get another trailer, because that's how you can handle and make it an efficient operation instead of just, you know, handle the business that you have, is having enough trailers. One may have to set for a day, half a day or a day to full of stuff, waiting to get hauled off. But I still not understanding the problem yet. I mean, what's the biggest hangup for doing that? Is it just strictly this? Is it
Trying to get it out in time, trying to keep the floor clean. You know, we get it piled up, we lose one side door and two, so, you know.
So once they come in with waste from a tear down,
Mm-hmm.
then the problem is getting it into the trucks.
Getting it in and getting it out. But
Because they get too heavy, if you load it all with C and D, or not heavy enough.
the weight's not the problem, it's just tearing the trailers up too. A lot of C&D, some of the boards, we got a couple, well, one trailer, I've been noticing starting rust holes in the side. And you start getting too much C&D in it and it starts pushing, it'll right through the trailer. I've seen that happen a couple times.
This deal here, it takes your approval or a city sponsored approval or something like that. So what are you seeing as far as?
So our applications say that the permit is valid for 14 days. So there's a requirement of an asbestos inspection prior to the approval of the C&D reduction plan. I mean, they could do it simultaneously, but that could spend a lot of that time. Anyways, so between an asbestos inspection, the person being approved, the project getting started, they are rarely done in 14 days. Most people aren't set up to have it done that quickly. So then we're waiting on tickets and we're trying to let them get finished up or at least get to that 25-ton point before we stop holding tickets. So, I mean, I don't know, it could be that however many tickets you get in between now and 14 days from now, and then you're done, and you pay full price.
Where did 14 days come from?
It's on an application.
We'll just change the application.
Isn't that kind of quick? I mean, by the time the guy
That's-
decides to get the permit,
Is that
then
what
you
you-
got the equipment lined up.
It is whatever the commission wants to do.
Can you get the permit the same day you walk in to your office?
It takes a little bit of, we usually go out and look at it and see how much waste it would be. I double check to make sure that
There's
it
a couple more
fits
days.
there's a resolution, so I make sure that it fits the criteria in the resolution.
Is there anything in there that says that if they don't get all, for lack of a better term, all their ducks in a row, that they'll be billed the full rate? So you need to just suspend it long enough to make some text changes.
Possibly.
Well, I noticed you have it on your agenda for Thursday night, so, right?
No, that's not
I
it.
thought it was on there.
I don't believe so.
Maybe I looked at it wrong.
You might be referring to my email about today.
I thought somewhere.
So, I mean, we just want some suggestions. If you're not interested in suspending the program, then maybe we need to revise that resolution, come up with some things to make it more.
Well, maybe we just need to
less
cancel it until it
ambiguous.
can be streamlined somehow.
You almost need 30 days to get the project from start to finish.
Mhm.
Because
There's a lot of miles between verdict, and there's a lot of miles between docile and here and time frame. It also, they've got to inspect it, they gotta go out and do that for asbestos and stuff, so that's, it takes time, I mean, it does. Unless you give them permission to go and knock one down and bring it in. And
But could have your own equipment, you can do it in 14 days, because you can't depend on outside contractors.
Couldn't you change that to a sliding window to where it be, once you start bringing in loads, you got 14 days to bring it till you bring in your last one?
The first load.
Yeah, so it gives you a window, so you get everything else handled.
Start a demolition.
But now you're gonna start bringing it in on Tuesday, okay, well, you've got next Tuesday and the following Tuesday.
that's what I was concerned about, is if you don't have the equipment to haul it in, then it takes a lot longer, and they have other things on certain days that comes in, big days for trash, trucks.
Friday mornings is the recycling, so then after that it gets real busy with trash trucks and others too, so.
You
I
don't,
guess
do you
I
get any of
could
those, you
do
don't
it.
get any of those roll-off things that they jam full of C and D, do you? I can get some of those.
Oh,
Yeah,
they get them in, that's what a lot of them haul it in on.
yeah.
That's what, I was thinking maybe some of those went to, straight to Waste Connection or whoever brought the roll-off.
I mean, I get the part, and people not having the equipment and whatnot, but you're being cut a break in order to make an improvement or clean up. So you're saving money in that aspect. You can hopefully either rent a machine or
I like the
offset it.
project, 14 days start the first load.
Okay, Sharon?
I kind of view it like any other type of permit. You don't start a project and request permits until you wind up with contractors, the materials, the equipment, and a timeline.
No, you're wrong.
No,
Not me, buddy. I mean, you gotta have a permit for you, and you gotta get inspected and all that before you even get to get too close to this. So tear things down, so.
yeah, I guess, I mean, we usually get a permit before we start.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to do things, but.
Okay, so do you have some direction for Sharon and Josh?
Well, we're picking on something here that's just, bam. I haven't heard enough evidence of anything yet to say that, I wanna know the real problem. If, first you said booking, okay, bookkeeping. She said that, so if it goes over 14 days, it goes into another month. Income's income in this month, income's income in the next month. You only have 25 tons to go with, so.
It's more a tracking issue also. I mean,
Well-
we're working between several different departments and trying to keep all of this straight and make sure that we've got this paid, and we're, going back 3 or 4 months to try to figure out, okay, are they done yet? Did they pay? Where are we at? What do I need to get to him? What does he need to get to me? What do I need to get to on my monthly revenue? What does he need to get on his monthly revenue? It's just we're trying to do our jobs
So
in
you,
an efficient manner.
you charge for the permit?
No, there's an asbestos inspection fee.
Okay, well, you charge a fee,
Yes.
and then he starts charging when the stuff comes
For the
in.
tonnage. But we have to record it on the application, so.
Everything has to go in one form then.
Right.
So that's the bottleneck right there. It's got to come back to 2 different departments.
I don't see no problem. I don't get to dump nothing there unless I pay for it that day.
But you only do it on 1 load
Well, I may be doing 3 loads in that day, but I still pay for it.
each time.
Yeah, each time, yeah. I mean, that's.
They treat you special.
Well,
Well,
I do.
I mean, I'm just saying
I
that,
pay for it each time.
well,
It's pretty rare, but I mean, I do.
they'll keep track if you're gonna be back, but if I'm running a business, I don't want this program to stretch out either, but I want paid. We're hauling it off that day, just like any other trash.
So you would suggest somehow keeping a tally of how much tonnage that person has brought in somewhere at the transfer
They
station?
have to somehow.
They usually save the tickets and then pay at the end, because you may bring in 40 tons, but you're only going to get a discount on the first 25.
Right.
And the guy driving the truck probably didn't have the checkbook. He's not the owner, so he can't pay. Is that right, John?
Yeah.
I mean, the hired help is doing the heavy work.
Whoever's responsible with this, with the tear down that we're helping, they need to be responsible and pay.
So they need to come at the end of the day and pay.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to keep a track, somebody's gotta keep a track, or maybe you don't keep track then of total tons, you just take the whole thing and hand it to her?
We keep track once, but once we get there, we figure out, okay, this is how much total tons they brought, and this is, and then we give it to Sharon, and she does her part of it, and it comes back to me.
Sounds like government to me. I think we need to streamline something.
We just need to give them a little bit bigger window to get completely done quickly. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 days isn't enough.
Well, one way or the other, I'd like the county to get paid, and then transfer station should be able to handle that. I mean, that's,
Sharon's got to do her stuff for that bill.
it's already done. Well, they're hauling it in, they're dumping. You need to pay.
So would you suggest maybe a refund for, like, they pay the full price and then do a refund at the end of their project? They can.
Well, that's a different thought. I mean, that's a different thought. I'm just saying that if they can't pay today, they need the first thing in the morning or something. I mean, that, and if it runs over the 25 tons, that's automatically switches to normal price then. I mean, it's not rocket science. It may be hard to track, but that's why what you're in here with is a problem that needs to be worked out a lot easier than this.
Is there an ability to request a refund?
That's one more department that we bring in on this whole process.
Well, we could be done
That
with-
becomes cumbersome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that.
We could be done with this in one day. Or 2 days, the first day to approve it, and then the second day when they're all done and that person brings their tickets back into me to figure out, if they really wanna go through with the project, we'll put it on them. They can figure out what their tonnage was, bring the tickets in, and we can request reimbursement for anything under 25 tons.
That almost sounds like a better process, doesn't it?
It would make us not go back and forth between all the different departments.
The only thing I could
bookkeeping.
see if we say it's this, if they say, oh, this many tons, and we're actually way over that ton, and trying to get our money out of them too.
And it wasn't used for that actual project.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I tell you what, let's leave it the way it is,
Yeah.
and might
Well,
give
that's-
y'all something to think about.
It's giving.
I don't wanna
it's
get
giving-
into, I don't think we need to get into refunds.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through the clerk's office.
If it's a couple tons under, I'm
Is that
sorry.
right?
You got-
Standard.
So what is the standard fee now?
55,
$50 a ton right now, and our reduced rate's $15 a ton.
So, when they start bringing into you, do you have any idea that they filled out this permit process?
Yes, Sharon and I, we keep, I go and look, when she does her asbestos
I guess I
inspections,
should
I
say
go
your-
in.
Your people.
Yeah, I go in and look, and then I let my guys know it's, hey, this is coming in, they're gonna start on this date. And then just tell my guys, hey, it's for this project, and they'll start, run the tickets and hold on to them and stuff, usually till they're done. And then that's when we go through and figure out, okay, this is how many tons they were over. So this many tons gets charged at full price, so.
Okay, so today's process, when you get that far, how long does it take you to get paid then? You seem to have problems with payments, is what you said.
See, our last one took 2 or 3 months to pay us after it was done.
It's way out of line, way out of line. We're giving them a break, and I don't care who it is.
so how do we control that?
You
I
go-
think is what
you
we're
run
getting
a-
at.
You run a tally, and once you hit the 25 mark, you request payment in full.
Would you
Before go
ask
further?
for $250 deposit before they start?
No.
I think we're getting too far into the weeds.
Yeah.
I think is it okay if we just leave it like it is for now and?
I think the consensus is to leave it as it is for now, but continue to look for a better
Yes.
process or care system. Just a quick number, what's your total tonnage at C&D in a month, approximately?
Total tonnage, we range anywhere from 150 up to 300.
And how much of it would be in a program like this? Is it 10%?
No,
30%?
well, if they was to bring it in, you know, you're looking maybe 1 or 2% of it, but most people just, they don't use the program. They're
Okay,
not
so the
utilizing it.
program is a small part of the total.
Yeah, and we don't have very many. We had, what, 2 last year?
Yeah, it fluctuated. We had several the previous year and then just a couple last year.
Mhm.
Okay.
2 or 3, I believe. We have a couple that have applied.
Sure.
And we're just waiting, and I would say we should honor those still.
Sure.
But, I mean, moving forward, there's gotta be a less ambiguous way to handle
Yes.
this.
Yes. All right, gonna work some more on it and come up with a brilliant idea. Dazzle us.
Okay.
With the magic wand.
Don't really wanna shut it down because the whole thing is for cleanup. It's
Right.
it's to make our place look better.
Right.
But I don't want them sitting here for 2 months without getting paid.
Right.
Right.
I mean-
Yeah, but we need to get a process for work.
Like you said, we're trying to give them a break. And
Right.
unless we're just gonna,
Maybe you could give each commissioner, you know,
Give
just
that tenant in
a,
there.
we'll collect the bill.
Tenant after that, to 19%.
All right.
Only if you issued me a bat.
Well, when you have some of the, don't they
Yeah,
always
all right,
pay you? when
Josh,
you
does
ask
you
I
have
them?
mean, everybody charges a finance charge
All right,
after
thank you, Josh.
30 days.
All right,
Yeah.
let's come back. Now I'm gonna quick. Sharon, next topic.
Okay, the next item, I believe we had a couple of applications submitted for planning commission members for District 3. There was one that was submitted in March, but I didn't see anything in the
No.
minutes. I don't
no,
know.
that's just an application
Okay,
to be in there.
okay,
The last one is Mr. Lowe.
yes.
Yes. That is a gentleman that visited with last week, and very good, very interested. Probably didn't make that appointment. I didn't see it, I didn't get an email from her. Did anybody else get an email with this?
Sharon?
Sharon? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, with his?
yes. District 3 candidate.
Okay. So-
Friday, May 5th, 5:42.
Oh, well, maybe. I enjoyed the email.
Because that had the whole C&D program we just discussed. All the information was in there.
No, I didn't get it then.
So May 5th?
Yep.
I didn't get it.
Don't feel bad, I don't get me a Randy's.
I got it.
I had to ask Dave for mine.
Yeah.
I got it right in the packet pretty much.
Huh.
Yep. So there, Dalton, Dave, David, Jonah, Kent.
Okay, is there something that I have trouble, I'm gonna ask you technical people. Sometimes all I get is some main things from there. Is there something else I'm supposed to click on? No, not?
I haven't got anything from Tina for
You got-
6 months.
Well, you gotta make sure that when you're checking, you've actually got a connection too.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll plug in and it'll take me 5 minutes before it registers I have a connection and starts pulling it in.
Okay.
And have you checked your junk mail or see
No, I
from your
haven't.
junk mail?
I have to check that. Okay. Well, I
Get
just
from
wondered,
Tina or
because I didn't
Road
get.
and Bridge.
Yeah, I was looking at the addresses.
Okay.
One to Randy went to your msn.com.
Oh, that's why. That's why I'm not
You
getting
might
it.
want to update with Sharon and Kent
Yes,
was
that's
a,
What did it say on mine?
I'm pulling it up right now. Kent was a Gmail
Yeah,
account.
well, that's what I use.
Yeah.
So do you have a new email address?
What's
County,
mine?
I use county, yeah. Use
I use
county.
both.
Mine,
Yeah,
Marion County one?
I'm pulling yours up now.
that's not, I mean, that's,
Marion
that
County.
was mine. That was years ago.
Okay.
May 5th.
Yours went to the county email.
See that one?
Yeah.
My
All
county
right,
email
we'll-
didn't work.
We'll work on the
Should use
addresses.
Worst Associates.
But, no, Mr. Lowe is Delbert.
Yes,
Delbert Lowe.
Delbert Lowe
Yeah,
for District 3.
yeah, lives on 20th Street, Burns. Yep. I'd like to make an appointment of Delbert Lowe, Marion County Planning Commission for District 3, be the second one, final one.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Dalkey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garring. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We now have a full planning and consulting commission.
All right, it's been a while.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, and I do apologize that neither of you got the board packets. We'll try to figure that out.
Yeah, yeah, I tried.
Just use Dave at Western Associates.com.
Sometimes I need two cans and a string. Where I live.
Okay.
Now, would that MSN.com be in her computer or system somewhere? I mean, that's a long time ago. I had that.
It's on your computer.
I can update I'll update my email group
Great.
to show your.
So where do you get your email at, Randy? On another computer?
County, no, right here, on county.
Everything, I mean,
Yeah, and me, it's all right here.
your MSN comes out too?
No, I don't have it. I haven't had that for years.
All right, we'll do an update on email addresses through Tina. Next on your list.
Okay, so, just the Sunflower One project update.
Mhm.
They're moving right along. The Gentie, which is your transmission line, is about 75% complete. I know they were working on it over the weekend also, so that might be
That's crazy. So
a
windy.
little more.
It was a little, so windy, I
Mhm.
figured I'd see anybody trying to do anything.
The substation is about 85% complete. One last big transformer to move in. The operations and maintenance building here in Marion is about a couple of weeks away from being remodeled. And on the construction side, the ADLS, the aircraft detection lighting system, has been installed. Most of the construction crew has moved out to other projects. The road reclamation, we're still working on that portion. If you know anyone interested in a potential full-time job, working out at the wind farm, let me know. I think there's a contact. If you know of anyone that is interested in the operations team.
Are they training people? Or do you have job skill?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know
Okay.
what the job consists of or what kind of training they need to have. But I'd be happy to find out.
Just send me the information.
Mhm.
You probably having a hard time getting enough graduates from those programs
Good boy,
to
needs
cover
to.
everything.
So what were they doing with the helicopter?
Flying lines.
They,
Water.
We have a picture up there.
yeah, they use those to, so the pulleys that you see that are hanging from the
Mhm.
poles, those are temporary.
Yeah.
So they'll go up and switch that out, they'll run the line across the actual pole, take the pulley down. It's just easier to do with the helicopter because then they can string the line from pole to pole instead of, I cannot even imagine the process without doing it that way.
Be walking in with a crane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be quite a process.
Very good, nearing completion.
Yes.
They haven't crossed Highway 50 yet, you know, on both sides of it. But that might be a little project for the traffic.
Yeah. It won't take a while. All right, anything else, Sharon?
Yes, I do have a couple more things.
Oh, yes.
On my packet, I had just noted a cryptocurrency Bitcoin mining discussion. Crypto mining, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's like a virtual currency. And there's been some big issues with these Bitcoin mining facilities coming into counties. They're basically a bunch of servers on a trailer, and they use a horrendous amount of electricity. The fans that they use to cool them are very loud. They've become a real issue for a lot of communities. And so I wanted to just talk with the commission, have a discussion. You may want to consider placing a moratorium on accepting any applications for this cryptocurrency manufacturing, mining,
Until you can get some
Call it
text.
mining.
until we can,
Yeah.
until
Has there
we
been
can
some,
figure out.
some rural counties
Yes,
in Kansas that have?
there've been some real
Yes.
disasters.
Yes.
And they're very sneaky,
They
the way
move-
that they apply for these
They
things.
move around.
They're
No.
usually pretty well affixed near a substation because
Once
they
they
take
get it,
that
okay.
much electricity.
They will locate a spot, they buy the ground with a kind of a, what do I want to call that, a phantom corporation that has no other assets. And then in one small town, you may remember that one, Sharon. This is beautiful.
There's one in Jefferson County and I believe Harvey County.
There's also the one that started all this and got my attention and started getting all the information about it was out
In
west.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, and there's one in Arizona and one in Tennessee. They revived these little towns. I mean, in terms of they were throwing money at it that better than a casino. The problem is those things run 24 hours a day, and it makes anything that a co-op does with those fans sound like nothing. It is loud and it's noisy and it's annoying, and once they're there, getting them out.
Good afternoon, this is
a
Brian
very
Cedric
different
calling in.
experience.
I think that's for our 130.
Okay.
So your recommendation would be a moratorium until you get some text?
Yes.
language?
Definitely.
I would move to put a moratorium on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin mining.
I think we need to do a resolution.
Yes, we do.
Sorry, not to
Okay.
interrupt.
It's just
No.
direction for us to prepare one,
Okay.
and get it before you in reasonably short order. So that
I would
would be
move
done.
to have the county councilor draft a resolution for a moratorium on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin mining, until text can be drafted.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
I'll circle back around with that issue with you.
Okay.
I also would like to request an executive session, maybe later.
Yeah, if we.
Sounds like you've got.
1:30, we have a bid review.
Okay,
How about 1:45?
sure,
That work?
that'll work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So at 1:30, we have the Marion County Lake Dam rehab. Is Isaac out there?
Isaac out there?
Yeah. Hey, Isaac.
Good afternoon.
So I think Brian's online. Let's call her one. Brian, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize the meeting was ongoing. I apologize for that.
Sorry about that. We had you scheduled at 1:30, so we're right there. Isaac's here now. So Isaac, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. So we had our bids for the dam repair. They were due this past Monday at 3 p.m. So we got those in, and then we sent those bids that we received over to Brian to review. Got some comment on Brian from the bids. Nothing out of the ordinary or any problems or anything like that with the 3 bids that we did receive. I don't know. Do you guys all have a copy of it?
We do not.
We have them right here.
Okay, so how about, can we have Brian just give a summary?
Sure. Brian, is that good with you?
Yeah, that's good. So based on when we did an engineer's estimate, our engineer's estimate was $96,100. What we found was that it was pretty comparable on the material cost from the 2 lower bidders, but there were a few items that were a little bit different from what we had expected, mostly in mow and demo, and one in the diversion, which they may have been padding those to kind of cover other expenses.
Brian?
There are 3 companies that bid. Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt just a second. I was advised by our county clerk that we should read the bids first and then let you give the explanation.
Okay. Sorry.
So, sorry about Okay, I've got 3 bids. The first one is, I should put my glasses on.
The due date is-
Okay. First one is Hogan Excavating, $149,000. Next one is Middle Creek Corporation, $250,745. And the last one is NF Construction, $120,269.23. Okay, I've opened and read all 3 bids. Now, Brian, I'm gonna turn it back to you to let you explain. Sorry about that.
No problem. So I kind of started saying the engineer's estimate that we had was $96,100. What we found is our material costs were pretty well close, which basically is rock and labor to install the rock. There were a few other line items that were a little bit high on some others, but probably adding some of those line items to cover expenses. So to go in order from what you have read in, bid number 1 was Hogan. We found the bid to be reasonable. We did see that the diversion cost in that line item was extremely high. It was at $48,000 to fix that diversion across the back of the dam, which we weren't sure if they inadvertently added an extra 0, or what the case was, but all of the line items added up to the total, so that you really can't refute what they have written down for $149,000 total, because it does all add up. They probably should have put units in those lines so that it would kind of clarify some of that if there would have been any questioning. But since they didn't do that, there's really nowhere to question how it was filled out. Number 2, Middle Creek Corporation. Our evaluation was that it was way too high over the engineer's estimate, and had that been the only bid, we probably would have considered it unacceptable, just because the bid was too far from what an engineer's estimate on the project would be. The third one, NF Construction, came in as the apparent low, and we felt like their bid was also very reasonable. The seating cost was a little higher than what we had expected, but we also don't have a whole lot of basis right now on seating on that type of a slope. You know, there could be for comparison. So they may have been increasing that just due to the difficulty that it's going to be to do the seating on the backside of that dam. Also, we're not as familiar with this group. I've heard of them, but we have not worked with them before, so we would be relying on the commission's knowledge and or other recommendations from the local community on their ability and equipment to complete the project. That kind of sums up the 3 bids.
Okay, questions from commissioners?
NF, is that Cody's?
Yes.
Cody's, yeah.
So it's probably Justin.
That's what I was gonna say.
They are working together on that, yeah.
So we've got a bid from, that one will have a subcontractor. And NF will subcontract, where I'm guessing the other 2 wouldn't. Not that it makes
Right.
an issue, it just needs to be noted.
I think it's just because NF carries the certificate.
The insurance and all that, yeah, sure.
The overrides.
Okay.
Brian?
Yes.
I just, this NF contractors, they have done work with the county and stuff, and I personally have no problem with the work they've done for us before, so I just giving you a heads up that we have seen them working for us and things like that, so.
Yep,
Appreciate-
no, that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't mention we haven't worked with Middle Creek either. We have worked with Hogan in the past on some watershed projects, but so they're the only, out of the three, they were the only three that we had worked with in the past.
Other questions?
So should we budget with a contingency? Should we budget with contingency value? Ryan?
Are you questioning for me on that?
Yeah.
What would you, could you explain what you mean by contingency, like a certain percentage?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say that we should probably have a little bit of buffer
Why
in
should we
case
budget
there is
for a contingency?
extras that are needed to be added on.
That's what I'm asking.
And really the only,
We pay them.
the only thing that I could see happening is if we ran short of rock. You know, if we find out that, you know, the estimate rock value that we came up with was considerably short to where they needed to bring in additional material to finish the job, then that would be going to fall into a contingency. But I can't see any other of the materials or requirements falling into a contingency.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Explain a little more there, Jonah, if, with this bid of that, or maybe Brian needs to, who determines, let's say, the rock that was, say they fell 25 or 100 tons short or 500 tons short of rock, who determines that? Is that left up to you as the engineer of the project, or is it the contractor's responsibility to determine that much?
Somebody's got to validate it.
Us as a customer.
Somebody needs to be looking out for us and our interest, making sure that it isn't, you know, 50 and they're saying 100. Somebody's got to be advocating for our side.
Yeah. Right. And in conversations that I had with Isaac, we kind of started initial conversations with us doing that work. I'm not sure if that has been approved by the commission or not, but we are capable of providing the construction inspection to make
Oversight.
sure that everything is completed on the plans as specified. Because we are responsible to submit an as-built to the state and it'll have all the as-built quantities and everything on there to show exactly what was installed. So.
We didn't vote on that?
Yeah, we were told it.
For them? We did. To do this?
He just prepared the bid for us.
You know, we had a couple options,
Yeah.
and I don't remember picking one.
We went with the minimum.
So with the minimum, there is no included oversight other than.
Well, it's better to get it out here than later.
Right.
I mean, that's the answer to your question, Ken, is, you said just pay them, that'd be it. Well, this contractor, I mean, this engineer, we didn't pay them to do that for us, is what I think is what Jim was saying.
What good's contracting? Might as well hire somebody by the hour.
Well, it's.
You gotta know what your price is in the end, or something close to it.
Yeah.
In order to make an educated decision, you can't just turn them loose.
Right.
All right, why don't we take care of the issue on the table, and that's the bid, and then if we want to follow that up with discussion of oversight, is that agreeable? Okay. Is there a motion to accept the low bid from Nelson Fowler Construction, $120,269.23?
I would make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dalkey, second by Commissioner Becker. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Now let's move in discussion of oversight.
We've got to cover ourselves
Yes.
somehow. And these guys, we're willing to work with them and
Right.
stuff, so,
Right.
you know.
much should we charge?
Well, yeah, I guess that's what,
Well, I guess, Brian, I'm gonna ask, did you happen to convey to Isaac any idea of cost for the oversight, or could you provide any of that to the commission?
Yeah, I mean, we have not provided like a proposal for that. Typically, well, and I mean, what our charges are, you know, mileage and our inspector's time, basically. There would be a trip over to do a stakeout, so they can kind of get that lined up and then be on site. A lot of times it's just as needed, depending on how much the contractor needs us there, but definitely during, you know, key points during construction, when they're putting in a lot of the rock, putting in pipes or anything like that. So basically we charge $85 an hour for his time on site, and $60 for time when he's driving in the truck, and then mileage.
That's reasonable.
I can't see that he would have to be there a whole lot. But if they got into a jam where they needed him there to be doing surveying and that kind of stuff, then he might be there for a 4 or 5 hour period. But I just can't see him being there an entire day unless the contractor is really needing it. But I can see there being, throughout that construction period, like 3 or 4 trips over.
Okay.
So I could put like a mini proposal together if you would like.
Yes. Do we have consensus from the commission? I've got consensus from the commission to have you submit that to us.
Okay. All right, I'll get that to you.
All right.
Who do I submit it to?
County clerk, Tina Spencer,
Isaac?
or Isaac. Isaac
Okay.
can get it. Just contact Isaac.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for all your assistance to this point. It seems like it's been a long marathon, but
oh,
I can almost
Yeah, we're getting there.
see the line somewhere up ahead. So again, thank you, Brian.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Anything else on dam repair?
Keep it done.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
All right. Very good. Thanks,
It's
guys.
quiet at the lake, huh?
No.
I did see my first lake there today in Melbourne, just blue green algae. I did see that already started.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, on Channel 12.
Thought you
It's
had
gonna be a
water
couple
on
on the
that.
list this week.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, yep.
Okay, Sharon, you wanted the 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minutes?
Bryce, we need to run through Bryce
Yeah,
first.
Bryce, I think, was on the schedule ahead of.
Okay, all right. Bryce? Sorry about that. We were ahead last week.
Okay. Make
We're
up
far
for
behind
business.
this week.
Okay.
So,
Good thing don't last long.
Yes, okay. All right, start out with, give you an idea, should be getting the generator pad for our backup generator at the shop, poured today, if not right away tomorrow morning. I sent an email to everybody last week about the work for blade patching, chip seal, and microsurface. Everybody received
been
that?
having some email. Did you get it?
Yes.
I got it.
That one everybody got?
Okay,
good.
gotcha. Good.
No?
Okay,
Not everybody.
I'll make sure perfect. It's
Okay.
I can't get
This morning, you should have got another email from Brian Lang
Yeah.
on
Yes.
the 80th, and I went back, I think I sent you guys the cross-section of the low water crossing typical. Did I or did I not? No, okay, I might not have. Anyway, not knowing how long it's gonna be. I mean, the Corps says, well, we'll determine how long that's gonna be and everything else. Just assuming it's 100 feet long, 24 feet wide, at $40 a square foot for concrete labor, adding side slopes and toe walls, we're probably looking at $120,000. And that still does not include the dirt work off to the west side. Now, again, that's just an estimate. Again, I don't know how long it's gonna be, how wide. They want us to design it, but yet they're gonna determine what the design is. So I'm a little bit taken aback by that. So on top of that, he brought up the issue of using cobbles. So I called just a local supplier of that. And based on, he says it's been 3 years since he's brought some in simply because of the availability. It comes in from Colorado and the trucking. He said basically the only way he can get trucks going out there is to deadhead out there and then pay for the rock coming back. So based on what his best guess of what that would be, material only for the cobbles, we're talking 311 tons at $200 a ton is $62,000.
Did you figure 100 foot long there too?
Yes.
What's the normal length for those little ones we've been putting in? I know they're not 100, but isn't there 50, 60 foot?
Well, and again, I don't know because
I mean, what we've done in the past, Bryce.
we haven't done them in so long.
Well,
that,
I'm just
you know,
saying what we got out there.
Yeah,
You can-
some of them
They're
like
small.
up north. I mean, I bet they're over 100 feet
Oh,
long.
really? Okay.
Yeah, especially on the big creeks coming down there. The other thing is when you put these at the bottom of the hill, you have to match your grade going in and out of there. So you have to make it somewhat, a good transition. But I understand the cobbles, but as much water flows through there, I don't know how well those cobbles will hold. Like all the other aggregate we over there, it ends up in the ditch and then we lose it, and it's not like we can just get a local drop or whatever else out there if we have to come in that far. So anyway,
What's the difference between those cobbles and riprap?
the cobbles are round. They come out of rivers and stuff like that. They're landscaping cobbles, what they are. They're round, so they're easy to drive over, but you put riprap out there, you just get a little bit of anything and everything out there. The problem is the cobbles come in, they're going to be clean and not have any trash with them. You put riprap or whatever else out there, they don't want the fines going into the water supply either. So that's why they specify something that doesn't erode, as in concrete or, again, cobbles. And again, I've never been around one. I was just getting the information based on what he told me. Anyway, without knowing, or obviously that just came in this morning, so I haven't had any communication with him as to what may be, but I'm a little, I guess, perplexed because they want us to go out and design this, which if we goes out and design this and we have to determine what that elevation is, we really need to determine, do a survey of that and determine what that is and go with that plan. Now, he's also talking about moving the flow line or the main part of the channel 50 foot west. Well, that doesn't align up with what's there now. So now we have to go out and change the channel, which is going to be all sorts of problems with DWR. Now, granted, we should have a little bit of influence, with the Corps and everything else backing us, but now if we go in and change that channel, we could have to go 100, 150 feet upstream and downstream to make that work.
That's the part, when you looked at that picture over my hood, where the culvert's setting up here, and then as soon as you get over that culvert,
Then
you
you
drop
dive
down
Yep.
and stuff.
And then, of course, again, this still does not deal with the raising the road up on the west side of there as well either.
Right.
So, anyway, I guess I can get back with him and try to, I don't know, maybe come up with more information, but I just wanted to tell you that that's what I come up with. And
So there went our cost efficiency.
Yeah.
well, and again, yeah.
Well, it's no different than any grant you go for, right? You don't go out seeking a grant so that you can do a project. You had a project in mind and you found a grant that matched up so it could reduce your cost. If we had a project going on in that area, it would be a gravy thing to bring that on so you could reduce some of the overall cost. the other way around, what they tell you constantly not to do.
My next question is, that was not asked, and I should have asked it the other day. There was lots of rumors that, about that watershed district. Maybe they have had quite a bit of money in that watershed district. I don't know what their, what their line item is right today, but there has been rumors that watershed districts have a lot of money. So my question being, if they have a lot of money in their budget, then is it all going to this pond, or
It's a taxing entity. I mean,
yeah,
you
and
gotta
I'm
open
gonna find
records.
out. I mean, there's no reason why I can't find out.
Yeah.
But we didn't ask that question the other day. Do you have any excess money? They come to us like we was supposed to be, and there's nothing in our record says we're supposed to be involved in the financial end of it.
Our agreements are on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna bring it back to the two of you. It's your district, you know the area. Bryce, you're the county engineer. What are your thoughts on at this point?
Well, I can't see putting a bridge to nowhere, and that's fine.
And Bryce, you've said it, I think several times, there's better places in the county to.
Again,
put our
that's
efforts.
what I look at, and the other thing that's, again, that perplexes me is I don't know what that cost is gonna be.
Right.
Because again, I mean, you guys, I heard you talking about the bids to get the dam repaired.
Yeah.
This small of a project's gonna be very, very difficult to throw kind of a cost estimate at that. So again, that's the problem I see go ahead is, are we looking at $100,000, or are we gonna look at $250,000, again, in that location, but,
Well, now, we had an engineer tell us we have all kinds of steel out there. Did you not tell us that here not too long ago?
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is, do we hire somebody to come in? If there was a bridge to be built, anything, do we have enough steel for it that would reduce the cost to minimal? But still, you're building a bridge to nowhere, and that's I just don't understand.
Well, even then, it's gonna have to meet the core standards.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You know,
probably.
I understand you're talking, we've got material, maybe we do it ourselves, we
Yeah.
can, but again, it's costing the county.
Yeah. Well, then you have to have an abutment for steel to lay on.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you gotta have
Yes.
footings, you gotta have a lot of stuff.
But do we need to even do it?
Well, and
I mean,
that's not there, I don't think.
And that's what, you're coming back to the
Yeah.
core question.
Yeah.
And that, again, is what, go ahead.
yeah, core question.
And that's what Bryce's point has been from the
What's the
beginning.
end result?
Right.
Who is it servicing?
So I guess what I'm to the point of, if they can use the time to go somewhere else for their mitigation credits, give them the time to do it rather than us just string them along.
Yeah.
If our intention is
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
then we just will tell them no now.
Yeah, I don't want the project to die, but,
No.
I've also gotta be responsible in spending
Exactly.
money, so.
Yep, yep, and it was made clear that they have other avenues for mitigation credits. It was just an opportunity for the county. So if the commission doesn't feel that this is an appropriate project, then let's tell them now and be done with it.
I guess due to.
Buy lots of asphalt with that.
Little blade patch, maybe.
I just say due to the efficiency of what they've designed for 80th, a road that's shut down anytime it rains. Hopefully after their projects, they get 3 dams in there, maybe the road wouldn't be underwater all the time then, but there's still a lot of ways coming around from the north that's not protected by a dam when they're done. So it may still flood through there. I guess I'm just gonna have to say that unless we went somewhere else and did another mitigation project for them that would benefit the county and the public in our Marion County, I would be willing to listen then. But as of right now, this 80th Street's not running, so make a motion that we don't support it.
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Donkey, not to participate in the mitigation on Doyle Creek watershed. Is there a second?
A second.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion?
The litigation on 80th, or mitigation on 80th Street. Yeah.
That would be good, but
Yeah.
yeah, the street,
Yes.
yes, because not
Not
the
Not
dams.
mitigation period, but
Correct.
mitigation on 80th and
One location.
Yes,
west
and that
west
was
of
it.
Indigo.
Yes.
Because it has been pinpointed to that location.
Yes.
Yes, very good. And Again, I think the commission is all in support of the project, just this is not an appropriate use of the county's funds, and the watershed has other sources. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
That stops you real quick.
Okay, well, like I said, I'm all, I'll do what you.
You looked at as many options and avenues as you could.
Yeah. Did you guys do a salary adjustment for Jarrett?
Yes.
Did, okay. I didn't hear that, so. Exciting news on Kansas, they are pouring, one of the the east-west main line, one lane tomorrow, probably the other one Thursday, along the 2 radius. Very confident without any problem, I mean, obviously weather problems, whatever else, yes. That they should be poured out by the middle of next week. We're hoping. They're also continuing to remove pavement south, so that as soon as they're done with the intersection, they're going south. We have made arrangements to put in a temporary tube down at the south end and bring in crushed concrete to provide ag service. A temporary driveway in and out, which will allow the contractor to finish the whole thing at one time on the south side. So I think that was a really good deal. The crushed concrete going in there can be recycled and used on the rest of the project. So, then I just heard some more excitement. We had a truck get into a power line. Suppose it didn't cause any, it's not our truck, the contractor's truck got into the power line out there, so there was all kinds of flashing lights and Evergy trucks and things like that. Anyway, nobody got injured and one of those things, but.
I'm getting all kinds
It
of
could be a
alarms that my
disaster.
oil wells are down.
Oh, I gotcha.
Now I know why.
Okay, yep.
It wasn't the county.
Yes, well, and obviously, we told them right off the bat, because the east-west line obviously is a major line.
Yes.
That's the transmission line.
Yes.
Anyway, they actually got the one south of the substation, just crossing the road, so, not as big a deal, but still,
Still a big deal.
yeah, of course.
It's a deal.
Yeah, like I said, mainly, nobody was injured or whatever,
Good.
so, okay. Finally, got back with the guy up in Dickinson County that makes the lighted stop signs. It's been, a month or so since I called him, and I called and left him a message, and he said, I am so sorry that his message didn't pop up till this morning when I called him again. Anyway, he is in the process, they actually bought one retailing, and they have since redesigned them several different times. I think Martin says he has 15 or 16 of the superintendent for Dickinson County. So I called him, and there are 30-inch stop signs, and he said they're actually a 30-inch stop sign, but then he puts another half-inch of white material on the outside of them, so they're actually 30, maybe it was another inch, they're like 32 inches. He said they're on their like 4th or 5th redesign now, and they actually have them so that you can mount them up to any kind of a post, whether that be steel or wood. He has embedded nuts into the back of them, so you just run a bolt through whatever you're doing and just tie into that, so you can do that. They actually have a little inspection hole now that you do not have to take the sign apart to replace the batteries. He has a little inspection hole, and he said that they usually last 3 to 4 years, with that being said. He was very, very interested in getting us some. He said he would even offer them to us at $800 a piece for us to try out. He is in the process of talking to a lady tomorrow to start more of a regional, national marketing plan for it, basically designing his own. So he said the 2 he'd be able to do, he didn't probably have any other available right now. So obviously $800 for a stop sign is rather pricey, but that's the information that's available if you'd be interested in trying to do.
Do you have a primary location to run your first test?
The only one that is a really high traffic, the problem is the high-risk railroads that we're doing at 190th and Nighthawk. But we're really not ready to put them up. I mean, we could put them up there now and then just make sure that we transfer them over to the new project.
What about 330th and K15?
That's a KDOT.
That's, yes, yes,
That's where it needs to be.
yeah. And yeah, I
Send
think.
them the bill.
Yeah, can we do that? Can we build KDOT?
I'll ask him about that. They, and I think they actually put in, did they put in 30 or 36-inch stop signs up there? They have replaced them.
They're small.
They're actually big, but yet when you're coming up to them, they don't look as
You
big.
don't see them.
Yeah.
You do not see that
Yeah,
stop.
so, but anyway, they, you know, you've got the stop ahead sign as well, which is KDOT's as well.
Everybody's looking to
Yep,
view on the south
yeah,
side. of the road.
and that's, you got a little bit of that distraction on the south side.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I mean, I don't know, I don't see why Joe would have a problem if we did put those signs up there, but,
I guess I would suggest getting 2 of them.
okay.
Talk to Joe about putting one on the 330th and 15 and the
Going-
other one on there.
Okay, do you want the one, I guess I could maybe look at the accident, I think the biggest problem we would have at 190th and Nighthawk would be the one going northbound
Okay.
from the south side.
But that would give us 2 of them to kind of get a trial. Is there opposition to that? I just went by the one in Dickinson County.
On Jeep Road?
Yes.
Yeah, and you can see them a
You can see
long
it.
ways away.
Because even if you're looking that way, it draws your peripheral vision to that
It's
side.
solar.
Yes,
Yeah, they're solar and then they have the rechargeable batteries in it, but like anything else,
but even in
3
the
or 4
day,
years,
there's
yeah.
a flash.
Yeah.
Flash draws your,
Yeah.
All the way around it.
all the way around.
Yeah, it's got, I
There's
think
one
it's
over
got
Bush
like every,
Drive
it's,
across
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
like 8 different
51st
sides, I
Street.
think it's got 1 or 2 lights
Yeah.
on each side or something like that. So I could get one and bring it in here and just show you.
Sure.
So,
But would there be consensus to do that on 2 of them? Get it run a trial?
Which at 3 to 4 years
that's what he's saying.
for $800.
The batteries.
Yeah, the batteries.
Battery's gotta be changed.
So then all you have to do is replace
It's like an electric fencer.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so then
It's
cost
just
might
the-
drop,
it's like-
Yeah,
the cost would drop to what? What do you think then, Jonah? If you got any idea?
Depends
Well,
on what kind of batteries he's running,
I
what, how
don't
big
know.
of a bank.
And that's what he said too, is he's constantly reinventing these. He goes, we're on our like 5th iteration.
The batteries are changing.
Well, see, they used to,
Daily.
yeah, they used to have to, because they actually had 2 signs together, and that's where all the guts are. You had to pull the sign apart to replace the battery. Well, that got to be very, very cost prohibitive.
These are probably just LED, right?
Yes.
As far as,
Yeah,
so I mean, you're probably not looking at a high amp hour
No,
battery.
no, they're really
You're
not.
probably looking at some
Yeah.
remote head frog eye.
And I don't know, I mean, I could find out the specifics on them and everything else, but, you know, like I said, it's kind of pricey for $800, but I will tell you that Martin told me that it's been a God save up there
Save
on Jeep Road.
one accident.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because they had very, very high accident rates on Jeep Road up there, so,
Okay.
which is.
What about the intersections? I guess that'd probably be KDOT again. Well, an Old Mill and 56.
Anything to do with a major highway, the stop signs and the stop aheads are KDOT's. So, but again, like I said, I don't think they have a problem. I mean,
If we gotta asphalt the aprons for them, would that be ours?
Work out a deal.
okay,
Work out a
I
deal.
will touch, so K 330th and K 15 westbound, and then
190.
Nighthawk.
Is the, up there at 330th and K15, is the eastbound ever have an accident from that side?
There has been, but I think there's at least triple westbound.
Been more westbound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as you're westbound, you kind of crest a hill and there's a farm on the
Yep,
north
yep,
side.
yep.
So as you come down, but coming from the west, you're actually going up the hill, you can see a lot better either way, so. Okay.
There was a fatality about 20 years ago coming from the west.
Yeah.
What else, Bryce?
Other than, I believe let's get executive session for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or if you want to do it personnel, or if you want to do it after you have other things to do, or.
You're on, Sharon's gonna have to wait. Sorry.
No worries.
We made Bryce wait a half an hour, so.
Okay, before you get into
Yeah.
that, Dave,
Okay.
let's see here. We had a question up here from Mendoza,
Oh,
Jerry
okay.
Mendoza today.
Olney
The-
Road.
The Olney Road.
Okay?
what can we, and I see it's on your list here, 140th east of Sunflower, that you have it as the blade patch?
That's east.
Oh, that's east, okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's on the
wrong way.
west.
It's on the west.
It's black.
So it's not on here, right?
Right.
So what are we?
You're done.
Huh?
He's done with it for now.
Are we done with it?
No, that's from.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've gone to where we want to rebuilding the road. Now, if it's the commission wants to go back to Plan B or whatever that may be to do hard servicing on the road or whatever else, that's a decision that.
Mendoza's wants to
And
pay.
that's the way that's the way we left it. We just needed to get the road safe,
Yeah,
and then we'll figure it out down the road.
okay.
Let it sit
No pun
here.
intended. We're going to figure out what to do with it.
Okay. Well, I think we need to answer the man, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, that's right there is your answer. It's
So
discussed.
as of right now, it's where it's at.
Okay. Okay, well, the reason why is because I've got constituents, I talked to Bryce before the meeting over on the project over at the one we just talked about, Kansas, and south of there, and they've got the word out that we're gonna gravel it further from here on, so, and Bryce is.
On Kansas.
On Kansas, yeah, south of,
180.
yeah, but south of,
Ag Service.
Ag Service, yeah. And so, I'm just trying to figure out what to tell these people. We haven't made no decision to do anything like that. And so, Bryce got it on his list of blade patch, correct? Yeah.
This winter, we had some pavement breakups. We actually put rock back in just on a temporary basis.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have any good material, poor time of year to be putting it in there, so we've got on the list of blade patches.
So, is there a lot of blade patch? What I'm getting at, Bryce, do we have enough blade patching that is it more effective to do something else right now? Is it maybe rock? Well, you still got a blade patch and chip and seal, don't you?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and that road is falling apart, not any faster than the rest of them, but there's some bad areas in there that, I mean, we spend $1 million a year on blade patching, just trying to stay ahead of that kind of stuff. And
Down in Kansas, there's either an underground spring or something
Yeah.
right there, because there's cattails right there next to the road.
Yes.
That's been a bad spot
Yeah.
for.
And so something's gotta be done about that drainage issue, because that road, you
We-
can do whatever you want. You can
Yeah.
spend millions of dollars and it'll fall back apart.
yeah, we've opened up a ditch a little bit, but I think there may be still some more to do there. But yeah, that's one of the, because that spot is, I don't know, 60, 80 feet long probably through there.
Yeah, it collapses right there.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, I don't wanna tell a white lie.
You know. Well, I can tell you one thing though, it may not be paved, but that Olney Road is better than I've ever had it. I mean, it is definitely way better than I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good, Dave, that's, your answer's like,
That's good questions.
yeah, just,
Okay, the executive session just with the commission, please.
Okay, I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with Commissioner Bryce for 10 minutes from 2:10 to 2:20 with open session to resume back in this room following the closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Be back at 2:20.
Sharon.
Oh, Sharon,
For Sharon.
okay.
Later, so.
Brad, did you need anything?
This conference will now be recorded.
Have you heard from the Street on that bridge?
No.
Okay.
We just turned the mini back in off, so I'll be doing that, and then I'll be able to put all that together.
Okay, as soon as you can, I'm gonna
Yep.
forward that on so they don't say they didn't get it.
Yep, yep.
I talked with Freiberger just a minute ago again, because I haven't heard from an adjuster, but we have a claim number. I've left several messages with the number he gave me, and no one has
Okay.
responded, but I'd like to, he said, yeah, that should all go straight to them.
Okay.
So,
All right, out of executive session, no decisions made.
Okay, nothing else? Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Is Sharon still here? Patiently waiting?
Sharon? Yep.
I'm guessing you had plenty of work you were doing on your
I
phone.
actually did, yes. The conveniences, modern conveniences.
Is that too far? How long?
10 minutes.
Okay, potential.
Potential and ongoing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss potential and ongoing litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege, with the commission, Sharon, Brad, Tina, for 10 minutes from 2:24 to 2:34. Second, Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 2:34.
Another one?
Same topic.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no decisions made. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential and ongoing litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege, commission, Brad, Tina, Sharon, for 5 minutes. Okay, 2:36 to 2:41, with open session to resume back in this room following the closed session.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Gehring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. By vote back at 2:41.
Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. We're going to go into another executive session for 10 minutes. I move we recess into executive session in order to discuss pending litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege, with the commission, Brad, Tina, and Sharon, for 10 minutes from 2:43 to 2:53, with open session to resume back in this room following the closed session.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0 back at 2:53.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks.
Brad.
Okay, let's see, we've already done Meyer, dealt with the other one. If we could, I'm trying to do something that doesn't make those hop up and down yet again. I do have one more executive session on contract negotiation, and I didn't anticipate it, but faithful as he is, Kurt saw it on the agenda, and he's here
Okay.
on one that we would do for contract negotiation. But also, I asked Isaac to stay as well.
Oh.
On all the lake stuff, so we've got 2 of your people out here twiddling their thumbs, and it's my fault.
Good, I'm glad everyone knows who to.
Yeah, you guys can blame me for this if
Okay,
you'd like.
okay.
The other couple of things I have are just open meeting kinds of
Okay,
things.
which one's shorter? Which would take least time?
I think they're both about the same. The lake handout, we can do that in open session.
Okay, let's do the lake.
Okay. Get back to that. I'm not gonna hand out all the stuff that Isaac had attached to it. I'll just send that to all of you. It's more for, it's our existing law on some things and stuff I already had, but he was very helpful about sending out. And then I had asked him really this morning about, I've got a fairly lengthy list, and his is encompassed in it, but from his perspective, I put a lot of weight on what is of greatest concern to him in terms of what we're dealing with, and these are all things we absolutely need to deal with, like now. I mean, like last year.
Like the
now.
camper gets storage.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have, and I'm
Need a
gonna
parking spot.
paraphrase some of what he has said in here, because he did a good job of, he's able to deal with it, so you can do this off the top of his head. Storage area, we have 32 rental spots that are going for $20 a month for outdoor storage. As of now, there's no written or signed agreement, correct, for having a camper or boat in any of those spots. That, I don't know how that ever got by anybody, but we have nothing right now other than a gentleman's agreement in each and every case, and it's oral. And there's a problem with that.
I blame it on Dale probably.
So, and I'm gonna read through these with the comment as I go. And Isaac can chime in anytime he wants. There's 32 of those spots, so this is a significant amount of revenue potential in a relative sense. We're doing this at $20 a month right now for outdoor storage, and that's year-round potentially. And some of them are using it that way. And in driving out there, I didn't drive out there with him. I just did it on my own because I had some time again over the weekend. And the way the storage is being used is also in question in several instances, as I see it. So we need to talk about money and then the limitations on how it can be used, okay? And I'll get some input from Isaac in terms of what I've already drafted, but also need your input, so I'm just kind of running through these and ask you to kind of take note of that. Then as the second one is as to the dock owners, I agree again. Some kind of a signed agreement in terms of restrictions and liability and upkeep. You'll recall that some of those are open, but yet they are attached to certain people's property. And we had several of those people in last year wanting information because their insurance coverage is difficult for them to explain to their carrier, and they really need a written agreement. That really needs to be cleaned up. And as he put it in his notes, I agree, restrictions, rules, liability, and upkeep. We don't have anything on the private dock owners, and then the ones that are on county property, other than I guess a list of who.
Yeah, we have an updated list of just the owners and contact information.
Aren't they all on county property?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, nobody owns the lake.
So some of them are private, like on the north side of Stone Arch Bridge. You can't access them except through private property.
It's the only way you can
So
get to them.
there's like 6 docks back in that cove on the north side, but
Yeah.
those people own that property.
But the docks are on our land, aren't they?
Docks are on your water.
You just can't get to it.
Correct. Yeah. So those, I guess they're private because it's not open to public I mean, you have to go through private property to access them.
And I checked, we have no easement, which is what,
So
to answer that question and that
You need an
issue.
easement if you want to get to it.
Yeah, and I would want to comment on that later, as to that easement. So those two are fairly major elements of this. And then I've got a few more that relate to some of those things in terms of some of the other storage and how some of the properties are being used. And I know you at the very end kind of mentioned it. Our lake hall rental, we don't have any kind of a signed agreement that I know of right now to be able to use for that, and we really need that. In just making an inquiry with our carrier, they thought we did, and we don't. Trailer rental, the lease agreement there, he attached a copy of that, and I will send that to all of you so you have it for reference purposes. It does need to be updated, yeah. It's something that he brought into you a month and a half or 2 ago, something like that. And it hadn't been reviewed for some time. And we really, in terms of rule changes, we need to make some, not changes, we just need to make some in some cases that we don't have in place at all. And then they got to the ones that I had concerns about that actually lead to 3 or 4 agreements. We've got some RVs in storage area that have been there with no attention for years, that yet he can't really do a lot about them. I can do them as forfeitures, but I'm gonna need the authority from this body to do that, because it's gonna have to go through district court to do that. They are, I think we can ascertain, hopefully, a VIN on them, so we can identify that much, last known owner. And I'll just have to chase it down, is all I can do, and then get a forfeiture order if somebody doesn't step up. That'll take a little time and effort, but that's kind of the broad strokes element of it. Then there's several other agreements that we need to have in terms of maintenance issues and public versus private. And again, same thing that we've had with our roadways elsewhere. We have some issues with what people seem to be doing that I noticed versus what we would necessarily feel like they ought to be doing. That's going to be a completely separate discussion.
Sounds like we need to have a special meeting just on county lake issues.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have, most everything's been identified a year ago. We just need to get there.
Yeah, it's not, you have to just have it.
It's not new.
Yeah. It's just as the question came up again, I thought, okay, we're getting to spring again, and this hasn't. We need to, I think we talked about it last year about doing a special meeting for that purpose, so it's a matter of when you guys want to tackle that. And we just have to get some pictures, and I probably need to drive it with Isaac to make sure, maybe there's some questions he can answer for me that I'm thinking need to be addressed.
On the roads?
Not just roads, just some of the other private maintenance and some things out there that are an issue.
So what authority do you need from us to seize those vehicles?
Oh, just tell me that you would like for me to proceed with that,
Please.
on those.
On those
Is that a
forfeitures?
Yeah.
And we just go ahead and act on that so we can at least get something started.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
please. Is that a motion?
Whatever it needs to be.
Would you want to specifically state your motion?
He's waiting for Brad to tell us how to state it.
Any items that are presumed to be abandoned at the county lake, backed up with documentation by Isaac, I would authorize.
County councilor to address as soon as possible. Some legal proceedings.
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I didn't hear any nays. 5-0.
Let's see what we can find on those out there. I don't know on the van where we're gonna locate it, but
Oh,
inside
yeah,
that.
in the windshield.
Yeah, that's usually what I'm hoping there's.
I think I
Where they
actually,
are on
I think I have them written down.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sometimes.
if you do, just email them, I'll just
Okay.
start the
Okay.
petitions.
Yeah, 'cause I
Sometimes
think
on
I
one
already
of
have
these,
it.
they've got a little manufacturer, and it's got a number, and you can look it back.
Let's see, I don't have any, too much additionally to report on the bridge repair. The insurance claim has been filed and is active. The adjuster had not been in touch with Bryce or myself. I called again today, so I had a little extra time, so I called Mr. Freiberger, who's the agent with American National dealing with the property owner. And he said he would get on them. They should have been in touch by now with somebody. And then Bryce, you may have overheard, indicated that he should have the last of the information on the rental equipment. I intend to turn in that spreadsheet for reimbursement at the outset, and then the rest of it we'll just have to work our way through with them. But that's where that stands. On the fence review.
Why can't we bill the landowner and let him deal with the insurance company?
We can, actually. It's just, they're the ones who are gonna ask us. I know, I'll get a letter from them at some point, you know, that it's insured and that they are, in fact, here's your claim number, which I already have, and please forward any correspondence to us for processing. So I'm just trying to short circuit that. But yes, we can also do that, because ultimate liability rests there, and then they're just covering it. On the fence view, we obviously, if you'll recall, did the resolution last time. Tina gave me the address. I sent it by regular mail. I gotta get you a copy of that letter, just indicating this is what it said, here's what it is, here's what we expect, and the general outline of that, and need to keep us apprised, and asked him to provide us with some update prior to the end of May. I just wanna know it's something's happening. I understand we said 6 months in their bed, so that's done. And then the last executive session is on contract negotiations, and I think hopefully Kurt is still out there. He was
Right there.
Kurt is in here. In case you didn't notice, he's in here. I didn't.
Yeah, he sat next to the blue flag. So
Yeah, got it.
Oh,
done.
that's
Yeah.
it.
He's practically invisible.
He was blending.
Okay, anything else public?
No, that's really good. This will be the last one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this will be the last one today.
All right, how long?
10 minutes, you think, for this?
Not very long, I would
Yeah.
think.
10 minutes.
All right. I move we recess to executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Would that be attorney-client?
Yes.
Okay. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad, Tina, and Kurt, for 10 minutes from 3:06 to 3:16, with open session to resume back in this room following closed session. Second, Commissioner Gehring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 3:16.
Door open?
Yes, please.
Neat location, I'm not sure how. You do
This
that.
conference will now be recorded.
All right, out of executive session, no decisions made. Any commission comments? If not, I move to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Gary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
We're out of here.
You know, the funny thing
That was
is
priceless.